Right. So immigration as a construct is a joint area of constitutional responsibility between the federal government of Canada and the provincial governments when it comes to economic immigration. When it comes to visitors, students, anything humanitarian, so asylum seekers, family reunification, that's 100% federal. So having said that, I work for the province, but I'll just comment on that quickly. So it's a federal government of Canada responsibility, not a provincial responsibility. If you're there on a visitor's visa, I'll say visit and then go back home, right? Don't try and become a resident through that visit.
Yes.
It's also untrue. When you arrive, you're given 6 months. Or if you're given 6 months, it's also untrue that you can stay there 6 months and then go and leave, because I think there's been a change in purpose at that point in time. At the time the individual applied for the visa, I imagine they would have declared their intent was to go visit families for 2 weeks for a wedding or something and come back. There are so many routes to regular migration, so that's not irregular because they came on a visa. But if they now end up, some of those individuals actually go they go declare asylum. Now they're going the irregular route. I mean, when it's not for a legitimate purpose, right? There are so many legal routes to migrating to Canada. I think you nailed it when you said, people are coming. I think last year, 2023, if I have my numbers right, 40,000. So there's 40,000 people who, doing their job here, did not seek visitor's visa, found a formal and proper way, regular route to immigrate. So I'll say, if you come on a visitor's visa, you likely have someone there. You have a head start. Adaptability should be easy. You have family members who can help you with settlement services when you arrive. To your previous question, right, around what do Nigerians in diaspora do for those who move there, right? Settlement services, right, helping people find a home. Sometimes credit is an issue, first and last month rent, indemnifying them, from their landlord against, the likelihood that they might default on their rent. So if you have someone there, you're likely going to adapt. You're likely going to settle easily. I'll say return after your visit. And then if you like it enough, please apply for permanent residency from Nigeria, right? As opposed to, exploring ways to keep extending, the visitor's visa. Canada welcomes 485,000 people. That's the target this year. Next year is going to 500,000. And Nigeria is now the fourth largest provider of permanent residence to Nigeria. So there are so possibilities, through the formal routes. I'll also add that Nigeria is the #2 country for international students. So come as a student. If you like it enough, apply for your master's, apply for your PhD. When people come there and they graduate, they're given an open work permit. On a visitor's visa, you don't get a work permit, but now you have an open work permit. And
as a student, on a student visa.
That's right. And then after you graduate, so on the student visa, master students and higher, they have a work permit. But I'm saying when they graduate, so there's some countries you go to as an international student and they want you to leave when you graduate. In Canada, we do all we can to retain people, because I talked about adaptability. Who's more adaptable than someone who came to school, did their master's, graduated? So there's policies in place to try and do everything to get those individuals to stay. And a significant portion of the permanent residents that we accept every year are actually former international students. So that's what I'll encourage those individuals to do. Apply for, grad school or come back home, keep doing, what you're doing, that great banking job and IT, and then ultimately apply for your permanent residency.